Hello, my name is JLoco11 and it's been 5 days since my last drinking video and I am officially sober. Nah man, I'm no alcoholic, I'm a drunk. Alcoholics go to meetings and shit like that. You know what, that's fucked up man. Let me stop making fun of AA participants because at least they're trying to fix a problem. Bungie Vision just tries to hide problems. But anyways, if you haven't by now, last Friday's video was me attempting to do a review of Destiny's Taken King while being just a little bit inebriated, you know, just a little bit. But now I'm back to my normal, abnormal self so I can get back into some regular videos again. And since I forgot to tell the YouTube order to go fuck himself in that video, now I get to say go fuck yourself in this video. Twice, to make up for missing for that shit. Now, I get into a sober review of this motherfucker. Taken King. I must say, this is a massive improvement for Destiny. And I can't understate that enough. The game still has flaws, which I'm going to focus on in this video. But overall, this was an improvement the game needed from day one. It's unfortunate that it's come 1 year later, $140 later. But everything people envisioned this game could be is starting to come together. It's not perfect, but it's a huge step in the right direction that shows this game could be an amazing experience in the long run. Now, I'll talk about the price tag and a little bit more in this motherfucker, but at least this time, we got some more story. Much more story with actual cutscenes. Granted, it wasn't as great, but we'll talk about that in a minute. We got motives this time from villain. We got backstory on our accomplices. Cutscenes are more than generic shit from the beginning of the game. Missions that made sense from a structure standpoint. There is no question this was the best work Bungie Vision has done so far with the game. Absolutely the best work they've done on Destiny. Cayde became your comic relief in the game with his one-liners. Zavala and Ikora showed purpose for the Vanguards and why they're important. Eris became more than a background figure instead of just some chick with a haunted rock. Oh man, that line. So Bungie Vision is showing massive improvements. The shooting mechanics have always been excellent, we know that, but the stale nature of shooting shit for hours was partially addressed. We got a stealth mission in Crota's End where we were invisible and whatnot. We had to run from that fucking ogre where the game tried to trick us into thinking the mission was over, but it really wasn't. That was a cool trick right there. Strike bosses now have mechanics or differences from just being bullet sponges. The Darkblade mission was pretty damn cool. We also got that giant shank in this motherfucker who I'm going to be calling Shankenstein from now on. Oryx was a pain in the ass to deal with, and of course, the raid is once again the best part of the game. Since Bungie missed the mark a bit on the Crota's End, and then with the Prison of Elders being that monotonous shit, King's Fall came through with an excellent raid to atone for the prior two shitty DLCs. Some of the game things were streamlined, loot is now dropping more than panties at a sorority house keg party, and marks make sense. Vendors have purpose. Bungie Vision made some decent improvements to the game, unquestionably. I have no shame in praising them for making a massive amount of improvement when it comes to this game. However, it's not perfect. Matter of fact, it is far from perfect, especially for the price tag that you're charging for an expansion pack that should have been part of the game from day fucking one, but it wasn't, and I have to detail the issues. I have three main problems with this game, and that means three new assholes for Bungie. We have your story, we have your reskinning, and finally we have your in-game progress. I'll start with the story because that should be the very heart of every issue. Bungie Vision made a damn good effort to improve the Taken King storyline. I give them that. The problem is, they're having to dig themselves out of a deep hole that there is just no getting out of. They built themselves such a massive hole that I can't see them doing anything about it at this point to address it. Since Vanilla Destiny was so bare and so thin on story and plot, the following DLCs all encounter the same issue. Do you address the issues of Vanilla Destiny, or do you just create your own narrative and try not to make the mistakes the original game made? For the most part, Bungie Vision elects door number 2. Let's make this story better. Let's make this DLC better. But we're not really going to address the topics that were part of the $60 product that were the problem. The Taken King does exactly that. They make a pretty decent narrative for Oryx, I will admit that. You have a reason for Oryx to be here. You have progression in the story as to why he's here. The Cabal have finally been given a purpose now instead of just fighting on Mars and having no bearing on the fucking game whatsoever. But at no point does any of this address the fucking problems the game had in the first place. We still don't know what the fuck the Traveler is. That giant fucking ball in the sky that is supposed to be the center of the fucking game. The entire scope of the game revolves around that big fucking ball, but at no point has it ever been addressed. Not in the Dark Below, not in House of Wolves, and now not in the Taken King. We get one line in the intro about it. That was it. Then we're off to fight Oryx. The Stranger has never been heard from again. Rasputin keeps coming up, but its full explanation is never mentioned. Exos and Awokens are still missing explanation, but none of that shit matters to Bungie Vision. Hell, we're gonna introduce Oryx, and we're not gonna give you any detail or background on this motherfucker. Does anyone want to know who his wife is or some shit? We saw him, we saw his son. Who the fuck's the wife? But anyway, we can't explain that shit. Bungie Vision can't explain that shit. So their solution? Just ignore it. We have our entire game revolving around this floating orb that visits the Earth, yet no way to fucking explain what the hell it is. So far, 3 DLCs have all completely ignored that shit. Now let's come to Oryx himself. Apparently he arrives for revenge, right? Crota's killed, so he wants to kill us. Although that dude's a serious player. Do you realize that shit? Do you know how many daughters he has in this fucking game? Holy shit, there's like 8 fucking daughters of Oryx in the game. They all look different. Probably at least 3 baby mamas. And he doesn't give 2 shits about his daughters, man. All he cares about is his dumbass son who got fucked up. I mean, at this point, the next Hive DLC is really going to be about his wife. I can almost guarantee you it's going to be Oryx's wife now wants to come for revenge after a whole fucking family. Anyway, here's here for revenge. Yeah, when we get to the point of actually fighting him, he pushes out for a while. And I know that I mentioned this shit in my drunken commentary, but right as you get to the point of where you're going to face him, he says that we're not worthy because he's conquered all these worlds and shit. So, what's the motivation here, motherfucker? Does he want revenge for Crota, or does he want to conquer worlds? Why is he backing out of a fight that he picked in the first place? If he's so Billy badass, why doesn't he get in on the action? Again, the story confuses itself here in that he's a major badass who wants revenge, but he refuses to fight us. He sounds more like a pussy to me more than anything. So after you get past the fact that Oryx is all confused, doesn't know what the fuck he wants to do, doesn't really have a true motive, I mean he has some narrative, but he doesn't have a true motive that we're looking for, then you have to look at some of the other things that were plaguing this game. A couple of smaller things that bothered you. First of all the cutscenes. They really don't match up. I mean, we had maybe like 6, 7, maybe 8 cutscenes or some shit like that, but that was really it. Granted, that's probably 8 more than we had in the first fucking game. I don't have time to explain why I don't have time to explain this motherfucker. No, but I mean, they give you cutscenes that at least explain something when it comes to Oryx and his motives and what's happening, but then after maybe like the first 3 or 4 missions, that's it. No more cutscenes. We don't need any more cutscenes. Why don't we need any cutscenes? Because fuck it, we don't need cutscenes. They explain a couple of things in the first few cutscenes, but then after that, we don't see any more cutscenes. Zavala, Ikora, Cayde, none of that shit. We get these disembodied voices telling us what to do all over again, and it reverts back to the same problems that Vanilla Destiny had. We don't have any fucking personality in this game. Your Guardian has virtually no personality. None. If there's anything Bungie Vision knows, they know how to create a main character with no personality. Oh, suck it, Master Chief fans. Let's face it, man. That motherfucker had about as much personality as a broomstick. We have the same fucking problem here with our Guardians. Our Guardians have no personality. They don't have fucking dialogue, man. This goes to show you, this entire game is basically told, here Guardian, go do something, go save the world, become legend, but don't say a fucking thing. This is one of the problems that you've had since day one with Vanilla Destiny and is carried all the way on through Oryx. Your Guardian has no purpose other than to shoot a motherfucker in his fucking face. I also have 3 other small things that irk me as opposed to being actual problems. These are not problems with the game, just small little minor things that I do want to point out. So like 1, do you not realize the size of the Dreadnought? When you look at the rings of Saturn, and you look at how much space that shit takes up, it is taking up a massive amount of space. Compared to the size of Earth, and how much Earth would take up in Saturn's rings, that ship is absolutely massive. So why the fuck is he hanging out all the way out there? I mean, he could come down into our space, just crash the shit into the Earth, and he'd wipe out the entire population, yet he never does so. So for some reason, he likes hanging out around Saturn. Number 2. What the hell does he want with Phobos on Mars? There is nothing there. But he goes there first. From fucking Saturn. To what? To capture a few Cabal? Really? That's it? You came all the way down here and you stopped at a moon on Mars? That's where our first mission is. Yet it makes 0 sense to attack that place, other than Bungie Vision just throwing some shit out there to make it seem like, oh, we're going to another location. Bullshit. They basically threw that in there to make it seem like we have some extra geometry in order to play with. Basically, it was one fucking mission. We're never going to go back there again. And then finally, during the raid, we actually never fight Oryx. I mean, they made him like a God of War type giant boss, you know, with quick time mechanics and shit like that. Come on, think about it. He punches a platform, he does some Dragon Breath type fire shit, he then shoots you from a fucking airship in which he can teleport you or whatever the hell it is. Then finally he does teleport us to another dimension, he does his Dragon Breath shit all over again. I mean, motherfucker, at least Atheon, Crota, and Skola shot at us. Does Oryx ever fire anything at us? No, he has a fucking giant green blob coming to kidnap us or whatever the fuck it is. Ah, man, I'm gonna get to it. Anyway, those are some minor beefs that I had with the overall story. But the main thing is, we still haven't fixed Vanilla Destiny. Now, moving on to problem number 2. which is the reskinning of shit. Reskinning, reusing, and repurposing shit already in the game is a big issue that Destiny has, and it hasn't changed since day one. We use the same fucking areas over and over again, and this DLC was no different and even more irritating than before. After Phobos, you then have to go through the Devil's Lair once more, because you know, reusing strike areas, that's been a hallmark of every DLC. The Dark Below started in fucking the same place that we are now, Devil's Lair, and went backwards. And then in the House of Wolves, you started at the back of Venus and shit like that. So now, you're gonna go up a tower that was right behind Sepix Prime the whole fucking time. How stupid was that shit, man? Then you get to the Dreadnought, this supposedly massive ship, as I already told you the size of this motherfucker, and it's actually pretty small when you patrol it. Yeah, there are some story-driven areas where you could go, but the patrol mode is fairly small, and I think they'd have to do that because you're not allowed to have your Sparrow in this motherfucker. But for such a large ship, we only use the smallest parts of it. Then they decide they're gonna go back and they're gonna reuse all the old areas again. Hey, let's use King's Watch again, because this hasn't been used more than once. Hey, how about that Dark Below place where you got Crota's Crystal, because that was the one and only time you used that motherfucker. Or you can go back to Crota's End for another cool stealth mission. Don't get me wrong, that stealth mission was cool, but because these fucking kids love visiting the Vault of Glass all over again in House of Wolves, let's bring that idea back. And since people love the Vault of Glass so much, let's do another mission there to show just how powerful Oryx is. Oh fucking joy, man. Seriously? When Bungie Vision reuses all of these areas, it really highlights how little they thought this shit out, how little their geometry is, how little game environment there is to play, and the fact that we're constantly reusing and rehashing the same fucking areas over and over and over again. Now, the most embarrassing thing, and it's probably Bungie just making fun of themselves, was the Mars tunnel mission. I don't know if you guys got up to that shit. You fight through that underground tunnel that you already fought during the Vex mission, right? And there's a broken wall at the end, and that ends up being, dun dun dun, the Black Garden. Get the fuck out of here, man. Even the commentary in the game says, wow, we didn't know this existed. Motherfucker, glitchers knew that shit existed before the game even came out. They were able to get into that shit because they figured out how to get through the fucking walls of this motherfucker. And only now you're saying you just figured this shit out? Come on, man. It's almost like Bungie's acknowledging they know their maps and worlds are small and they need to be reused over and over and over again to make it seem like they have a lot of content. Now, for the subclass missions, each character initially starts out on a map, only to end up on a Crucible map to get their class. Cool? Sure. Lack of a new area to use? Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. If this game had more area to work with, or actually created more area to use, then shit like this wouldn't be such a cop-out. This feels like a fucking cop-out. Instead, we get this huge fucking Dreadnought with the tiniest fucking areas to explore. Fuck that shit, man. Destiny keeps calling these shits expansion packs, but what they should call it is recycled packs, because they keep using the same fucking areas over and over and over again. Now, as for the enemies themselves, they thought they were fucking funny about this one. Hey, how about Oryx's power be something like where he kidnaps existing enemies? That way, we can just reskin what we already have instead of making brand new enemies. Fantastic, Bob. You deserve a promotion here at Bunch of Vision. Now, I like that the Taken enemies do have new powers, I will say that shit. And some incredibly fucking irritating things like that goddamn Captain Blinding Bubbles. Oh my god. That has to be the most annoying fucking enemy in the game. The powers are fantastic. However, you reuse the same body frame and it just shows more laziness. Seriously, man. Why couldn't a new character model be created? Why are we fighting the same structural shit with different powers? Why can't we get more giant Oryx bosses or something? Like a big fucking spider or an octopus or a Kraken-like creature or dragons or something, man. Instead, we get the same body type enemies with different powers, man. Not exactly my idea of new content. It's like, fuck the Taken King, man. Oryx is the recycled king in this bitch. Now, the final issue that I have with the game is the progression system of the game. Now, I already said how I feel about the old guns being useless, and I still feel like that. All the work we put into year one is basically invalidated in the game, since the guns are pretty much unviable right now. You can't use any of that shit, maybe other than a Gjallarhorn on certain low-level bosses and shit like that, to feel like it's fucking worth using. It's really pathetic to lose all your content just to make your new shit seem that much more appealing. However, two massive issues with the new system that absolutely pissed me off. For starters, the light system is just as fucked up as before. Prior to this shit, you would hit level 20. Then, all of your levels after that were determined by the gear you were wearing, not the other way around. Normally games say you need to be level 25 before wearing this gear, but this game said you become level 28 because your gear dictated so. And if you took off your gear, you were no longer level 28. You would bump down to level 22, 21, 20, whatever the fuck it is. So they changed that. Instead of just your gear, now they add light to weapons, cosmetic items like ass towels. Your fucking ghost, really? The fucking ghost gets a light level 2? To me, this shit is even more pointless than before. That cool exotic weapon you just got that you want to try out, well, that drops your light level down to something stupid. You want to fight orcs? Well, you're going to need to be 295 light just to damage him, which means your most powerful weapons might not give you enough light to do the damage needed. Are you fucking serious? Instead, you roll these crap-ass weapons into the motherfucker, and then you get fucked up by orcs because you can't do enough damage. Getting to level 40 now was normal, but your damage is still determined by this light level shit that encompasses your whole fucking inventory. Before it was 4 pieces, now we're talking 10 pieces. It's like KFC, you just upgrading to a bigger bucket. Now the guns determine their own damage, and the raid pieces become even more important because you want to get as high as possible with this light level bullshit. A good portion of people are going to grind for days, weeks, months to get decent gear just to get into the raid, only to find out they still have to infuse crap to get to higher levels, which is another issue. Infusion. To get your equipment, particularly exotics, to the highest light level, you need to infuse them. And what do you need to infuse them with? Higher level weapons. Wait, what the fuck? Exotics are the highest level equipment in the game, so what the fuck is going on here? No, not according to Bungie logic anymore. Before the Taken King, everyone knew the power levels that were based on colors of the weapons. White was your basic, then your green was your uncommon, then blues were rare, purple is legendary, finally yellow as exotic. That was the order. White, green, blue, purple, yellow. A blue would never be higher than a yellow, and that made sense. Well, here, everything can be fucking higher. I have fucking blue weapons that are better than my 290 Thunderlord. So what do I have to do? Infuse the Thunderlord just to make it higher. Why the fuck are lower tiered weapons stronger than exotics? Of course, getting shit like that is all based on the random number generator, RNG. Roll the fucking dice to get higher level gear because the game just can't make weapon upgrades on their own without RNG. Instead of an XP based system or rank up system that we're also used to, we're back to square one with horrible RNG decisions determining how powerful they are. It is again the most stupid shit humanly possible. It's like, seriously, Bungie didn't think this shit through. They just say, oh, we made a mistake 1 year ago, let's do the same fucking thing again. They bragged about their exotic quest and how the quest should be for your characters, would improve the game, help you rank up and whatnot. They did everything right with the quest, yet the one application that should be quest induced is a system that gives you the chance to update and upgrade your shit properly. Why not have quests where you can earn a 310 truth or 310 Suros? Why do you keep having people come back and play the shit again, collecting blue weapons just to upgrade the motherfucker? This bullshit that they keep doing shows they don't know what they're doing, shows they don't know their foot from their ass, shows that all they rely on is randomness. Random on top of random on top of random in order to get you to grind all of this shit out. The light level in this game is more fucked than it was before. We went from 4 pieces of gear now up to 10 pieces of equipment overall, including guns and 3 fucking items that have no business on your character. Your ghost, that artifact shit, and your class item, a fucking towel or a friendship bracelet on your arm, whatever the fuck it is. This is total bullshit, man. Now overall, I gotta say this. When it comes to the price tag, I said this before and I will say it again, this game was never going to meet the $40 price tag. No way in hell. The price tag for this shit is way too fucking high. The problem is, if you were to look at the amount of content that you have in this game and compare that to the original content, yeah, it seems like a bargain. I got like 10 story missions out this motherfucker, only got 20 out of the other one. I got a lot of quests, I got a lot of shit to do. However, I'm basically repeating all the shit that I did in the first fucking game. Realistically, this isn't $40 worth of content, and the reason for that is the regular game from Vanilla Destiny was not worth $60 worth of content to me. All of this content feels like it's $20. It honestly feels like an expansion pack, but it does not feel $40 worth of content. There are other games out there, Skyrim, Fallout, Mass Effect. They've done $20 worth of content that makes you feel like you got your money's worth. This will never feel like you got your money's worth. And the main reason for that is that the $60 product was empty, the prior two $20 products were empty, and now your $40 product, which was pretty damn good, feels like it needed to make up for all the prior bullshit that was in this game. Now for those of you who continue playing Destiny, you pretty much have to buy this in order to keep playing the game. If you don't buy the Taken King, you're pretty much asked out of almost all the content. So this thing either forces you to continue playing Destiny, or you basically say, you know what, fuck this, I had enough, I'm out this bitch. So essentially, it's divided the community even further when what Destiny should be doing is pulling players towards the game. Instead, it's pushing them away in droves. As much as they want to say their sales are high, the reality is when you continue to push players away, the ones that are staying are eventually going to say, when is that day that this game is going to push me away? To be honest, the Taken King was decent for what it is, but it was never worth the $40. Never. Ever was it going to be worth the $40. You had to at least know that going in, and I said that it was never going to be worth the $40 to begin with. You had to know that going in order to understand that you were not going to get your money's worth, in order to realize that you're never going to be fully satisfied with this product. Do I enjoy it? Absolutely. Do I enjoy the price tag? Hell fucking no. So for those of you out there wondering whether you want to spend your $40, the choice is up to you. But I'll tell you right now, if you don't spend the $40, you might as well take the Destiny game and throw that shit like a frisbee. Because at this point, it'd be fucking useless, man. But anyway, that does it for my Destiny sober rant. Probably not going to be drinking anytime soon in the near future. So as always, rate, comment, subscribe, and all the good shit. And I'll see you guys in the next video.